You can ban the books, but you can't kill the truth, especially when it is protected by God of black people.
This is not new. Their tactics are a little bit more bold and open. I mean, when I looked the other day and saw how they're trying to sell off civil rights museums where our ancestors had the courage to be a part of the Freedom Riders, but yet you want to sell that piece of history? As I look at all of what's taking place to our black veterans there at the cemeteries and how they have erased their names, so now you don't know who was the first black and who made some contribution. Don't you know that our blood built this country? Don't you know that our sacrifice made America what it is? Don't you know that America cannot talk about the land of the free and the home of the brave without adding black people to that story? And that's why it disturbs me for somebody who ain't even from America to try to erase what has been done in America. Take yourself back to South Africa. You don't deserve to be in America.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, welcome back to the channel. Now, before we go into this video, I want to say something. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your strength and your commitment of truth. Thank you so much for your prayers. The platform, or this platform, is not just a place to talk. It's a place where truth, history, and spirit meet. From this channel, I have a number like 2, 3, 4, or 5 black Americans and 3 Caribbeans who have visited Africa, and I thank you for that. Now, today I'm going deep. I'm going to talk about why the God of black people is exposing the truth, and why the truth is so unbearable to the system that they are now banning books. They are erasing history. They are trying to whitewash the history of black people, because this history of black people is so strong. They are trying to shut down any voice that dares to speak the truth. Now, I have a problem with my eyes on the light, but I'm trying. Before I go down to the video, I want you to watch this clip first. Because truth is power, and black truth, that's a revolutionary power. Let's watch this clip first, and then we come back with more commentary.
But this is why they're trying to erase our history. Because when you understand our history, you know we done been through worse than this. You mean to tell me you can snatch us from the coast of Africa? You can place us in the bottom of ships? You can sail us over waters? Some of us jumped over, some of us stayed in. We didn't know the language. We could land in a place we had never been in before, didn't know each other, didn't know you, you didn't know us. But then we were able to develop a culture that is envied around the world. We were able to build institutions. We were able to build banks. We were able to build communities. We were able to build churches. We were able to build the White House that man sit in today. He spoke and said, why are you looking for the living amongst the walking dead? Because anytime you can deport a citizen and don't feel nothing, it's because you walking dead. Anytime you can threaten the IRS status of universities because they don't believe what you believe and they let their students exercise their First Amendment right, it's because you walking dead. Anytime you think you can sell Bibles and tennis shoes, sometimes God has to show up and refresh your expectation. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, this is not over. There is more to life than this. We're going to get past this. We're going to live through this. That this is not the worst that we've seen. That there is still better days. Is there anybody that ever had to talk themselves out of some things because the enemy was trying to make you believe it was over? But what I like about the women is they didn't let their trauma create paralysis. Because you do know the purpose of what is going on today is for the purpose of traumatizing us so that we end up paralyzed. You do know what is happening today is designed to make us so fearful that we won't know what to do. We won't act, we won't speak, we won't gather, we won't celebrate. But I need somebody who in deep East Oakland, not regular East Oakland, deep East Oakland, who know that when you from down here, you're not scared of nothing and nobody. I need a few people to understand that I'm not going to let anybody from a White House or anybody living in my house to keep me from being a witness on behalf of God. The Bible says.
White supremacy relies on having an uneducated population, and that is exactly what Trump's administration in the White House is creating today. Anti-intellectualism isn't just concerning because individuals don't know how to read or write at a high level. It's concerning because they don't know how to recognize patterns that are happening in society. They don't want you to recognize the historic danger of banning books or realize that in 2023 alone, more than 3,000 books were banned, mostly about sexuality, race, and gender. They don't want you to recognize that erasing history is dangerous, like how Florida changed slavery to involuntary relocation, or that the GI Bill that built the American middle class, including my family, excluded Black veterans. Why? Because if you understood the way that racism is built into the foundation of this country, you would demand change. You would have to if you have any sort of conscience. From education to housing to policing, go back 30, 50, 70, 90 years and the pattern is all there. White supremacy needs you to be uneducated and complacent in your current status. So what is the most radical thing that you can do today, especially as a white person? Get educated, read a book, stop dismissing critical race theory as woke propaganda and actually look at the foundation of what we are saying, and you will literally be shocked.
April 28th of this year, he signed an executive order. The executive order is titled Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Citizens. Now, we all know that Trump don't give a crap about innocent citizens, because if he did, he would care about due process. And he wouldn't try to get rid of habeas corpus, because that is how you know that a citizen is innocent or not. So what they want to do in this executive order is give cops more power and permission to profile, to brutalize people that they just think are guilty. That means us. He is trying to create another George Floyd, another situation that will get us into the streets. I say this so that we all can be cautious and we can all see and know what he is trying to do. This executive order further militarizes the police that were already militarized with tanks and riot gear that apparently they do not need when people are protesting that are of a lighter shade, but they need it for us. This also further protects law enforcement officers who are accused of misconduct or police brutality. Protects them because we know that they need to make it home to their families, but you don't need to make it home to yours. They fear for their life, even though they're the ones holding the weapon and pointing it at your back. This executive order also does something that we have already seen. This executive order threatens state and local officials who discriminate by enacting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. If state and local officials are being inclusive, advocating for diversity and equity, they can be charged with discrimination charges. Now, Trump's DOJ's Civil Rights Department, who have defended the civil rights of people for 70 years now, they are no longer defending the rights of Black and brown people, LGBT people, women, all of those people who are usually discriminated against. They are no longer going to be representing them. So if you have an issue of discrimination, the DOJ will no longer represent you because of discrimination. Make it make sense. They will now be focusing their attention on discrimination against white Christian people because they are the most discriminated group by far. Yeah. Now, I say all this to say there's a tide shifting. Even though Black people are resting, we are focusing in on our communities, our Black-owned businesses, our children, our education, all of that. Yes, we need to continue doing all of that. I have seen a shift in the boldness of these racist people. Neo-Yahtzee rallies and marches up there in Kansas City. YT women calling little autistic Black children the N-word, getting $750,000 for that. But then there have been videos of Black people letting those racist people know who think we are going back to the 1930s during the times that we were hanging in trees, that they were having picnics with us as the main course. Times where they could tell us which swimming pools to swim at, which water fountains to go to, where to sit on the bus. Alabama today is trying to resegregate its schools. Problem is, black people like me were born into freedom. It's going to be real hard to put that genie back in the box. So even though black people are resting, we're not going back to 1930. We are a different breed. But I say, be cautious, because 47 has already started putting things in place, specifically for us, because he wants us to protest. And when we protest, he will enact martial law. And he already has the orders in place to do that. We need to know the enemy that we are fighting. So what do? Stay out of the street. Do not protest, no matter what happens. What we will do is we will continue to organize and protest with our wallets, cheer on our allies who are out in the street, strengthen the black community, and to be there for each other. We will continue to support black-owned business with our wallets and our presence. We will continue to be united as we were on the 5th of November 2024 when we tried to save this country. We will continue to do what we do best, thrive in our excellence, even during the hardest times. Love y'all. I don't usually say this, but share this video to somebody that you think needs to hear.
My name is Kylie, and I'd like to explain this analogy for the reason I make my content. Growing up as a white person, you are taught that everything you do is rooted in merit. So all of these CEOs who have earned their positions, it's because they are truly the best qualified for the job. Sexism, racism, etc., none of that exists. And in fact, our country has completely healed from the time of the Civil War when white people had enslaved people based upon their race. So now everything is perfectly equal. And if you don't work hard, that is why you end up in the position that you end up with. Systemic inequalities aren't real. Police departments aren't racist. And in fact, if you do the right thing, you will always succeed and you will always have good things come to you. Sort of a just world hypothesis situation. You don't even learn about racism until you're 15 or 16. So in many ways, the knowledge of white people about racism, whether it's something they say or do or participate in unknowingly, it's about the knowledge of like a kindergartner. So that's why something that seems obvious to you or to other people who have grown up experiencing racism is not at all obvious to white people, which is why I make the content that I do, to encourage white people to be actively anti-racist and to stop doing these things that I call out in my videos.
Welcome back. Now, the history of black people before colonization, before slavery, before the chains and the trauma is a history of greatness, a history of kingdom, science, architecture, music, medicine, and God-given strength. And when that truth comes to light, it destroys the foundation of white supremacy system, the foundation that was built on black bodies, the foundation that was built on lies. You see, their system is built on one massive lie, that white people are superior and that black people needed to be saved. But when the truth comes out, we realize something, that we didn't need saving. We realized that they needed stealing for them to stay alive. They needed our land, they needed our labor, they needed our culture, they needed our spirit, and now the truth is surfacing. The God of black people is waking up the chosen. The God of black people is doing wonders. And that's why you are seeing a global resistance to black truth. That's why you are seeing them folk trying to erase the history. Now, there is a war on black history. There is a war on black history, banning, erasing, and silencing. In states across America, like Florida, Texas, and others, they are banning books. They are banning books that teach about slavery. They are banning books that teach about Jim Crow. They are banning books that teach about reparation. And even civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, they are saying that it makes white students uncomfortable. Why are they uncomfortable? It's uncomfortable because it is the truth that they don't want their kids or their children to know. They don't want their kids to know about this truth, and that's why they are saying it's uncomfortable to them. Because if it is the truth, why are you banning it? Because they know it is the reality. Now, when the truth is supposed to be comfortable, they are trying to hide the truth. Now, their goal is to erase the pain. Their goal is to silence the legacy. Their goal is to rewrite the story. But what they are really afraid of is what happens when black youths know their truth. It's what happens when black people Black Gen Zs, Gen Alpha knows their reality, knows their, where they come from. They are scared of black child picking up a book and realizing that I come from royalty. They are scared of black child picking a book and realize that my ancestors built pyramids before Europe had toilets. They are scared that black youths will pick a book and discover that they are not the descendant of slaves, that they are the descendants of kings, queens, warriors, and prophets. And that kind of self-knowledge, that kind of spiritual fire, that's the most dangerous than any protest. Knowledge is the dangerous weapon. Having knowledge about your true identity, it's too dangerous. Now, when I say God of black people, you hear me talking about God of black people, I love that. There's a spiritual side to this. We cannot deny that. There's a spiritual side to this. And this isn't just politics. It's not just about education. It is spiritual war. Because no matter how much they try to erase, no matter how much they try to suppress or silence, truth keeps coming back. And that's because the God of black people is active. Our ancestors, our divine, our energy, our collective spirit, it's alive. And that God is reawakening the masses. You can feel it. I've come across black Americans saying, I'm feeling the heat. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. There's a black American, sorry to interrupt. There's a black American who came to Africa. And the moment she stepped her foot on the ground, she started saying, I can feel it. I can feel it. See this video.
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel my ancestors, man. I feel my ancestors. I feel them calling. I feel my ancestors. Oh, this is the land of the blacks. Because these people are black. See, I'm having this natural mango, man. Straight from the earth, straight from Mother Nature. Okay, we got some real fruits, not that GMO shit in Detroit. We got the real fruits from God, from the source.
I'm feeling the calling of ancestors. I will say this. Black folks in America are reconnected with Africa right now. Africans are waking up and rejecting colonizers or colonized minds. Black children are asking real questions. Even the white Gen Zs, the white children are asking questions. Even non-black people are beginning to question the lies they were taught. And that's not by accident, that's divine. When the world tried to keep black people silent, the God of black people gave us music, gave us rhythm, gave us soul. When they tried to erase our mind, we turned griots into preachers, we turned poets into professors. And when they banned our history, we passed it down in the blood, in the drum, in the spirit. Can you feel it? For me, I can feel it. The moment I talk about this history, I can feel the ancestors talking to me. When I close my eyes, I can feel the strength of the ancestors. I can feel it. The God of black people is really working hard. The God of black people have been there since day one up to now. The 400 years of slavery was just preparing the God's kids to be resistant, to be strong. The colonization that happened in Africa was just to prepare the God's kids. What happened in Jamaica was just to prepare the God's kids. And that's why everything that is being thrown to us, we can endure it as black people. I can stand tall and say, even if they try to erase them, even if they try to delete the God of black people, every day is revealing. When you ban book, that's a sign of panic. Because if your system is so secure, why are you afraid of children reading books? If your system is so secured, why are you afraid of children reading books? You only ban what you fear. Let's not forget, in slavery, it was illegal for black people to learn how to read. Why? Because reading leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to questioning, and questioning leads to revolution. Today, when they ban books about racism, police brutality, or even a true origin of civilization, they are doing the same thing slave owners did. They are trying to keep black minds in chain. But guess what? It is too late. The internet exists. We have podcasts. We talk about this. Black creators, black scholars. Someone said ChatGPT is against is talking about black people only, giving black people credit. It is everywhere. They know the knowledge. The Spirit of God of black people is moving. All over the world, we are seeing black people waking up. It's called Global Black Awakening, and it can't be silenced. It can't be stopped. In Kenya and Ghana, young people are rising. You see in Kenya what's happening in Kenya. They are rising. Even if when the president stand and say, we'll shoot you, the young people, the youths are using that shooting in another way to give them strength. In America, more black youths are questioning capitalism, white supremacy and religion. In the UK and Caribbean, people are demanding truth about colonial crimes. So this is not isolated. This is the same spiritual call moving through different bodies, and they call it woke and try to turn it into an insult. But being woke is just the modern word for spirituality conscience. And that spiritual consciousness is tied directly to the God of black people. The God that kept us through slavery, the God that kept us through Jim Crow, the God that put black people through Jim Crow, the God that put black people through slavery, through police violence, through poverty, through lies, is the same God who is moving. And another thing, these banning books, maybe it cannot lead to something. They can ban books, they can shut down classrooms, they can demonize truth tellers, but they cannot stop a generation that is already questioning. They cannot stop the spirit of truth. You see, truth has a heartbeat. That's the reality. Truth has a heartbeat. And that heartbeat is stronger than any law. It beats in a rhythm of the drum. It echoes through the song of struggle. It lives in the tears of our elders and the laughter of our children. And that's why they are panicking. Because they know once black people unite with our history, with our God, with our purpose, their system is finished. Completely finished. About erasing, banning, on all this, it's just exposing the real agenda. Let's call this what it is, a war on black consciousness. It is not just books, it is media, it is education, it is religion. In every system they use to make us forget who we are. Why do you think Hollywood pushes slave movies but never shows African empires? They push slave movies. You can watch slave movies, but you cannot watch about the African empire. Why do you think the school system teaches about MLK but skips over Marcus Garvey, Patrice Lumumba? I never learned about Mansa Musa in school. I taught it about, I learned it myself. I researched about and learned about it. I researched for the knowledge. They never taught about Marcus Garvey in school. But I was being taught about who discovered this, Dr. Livingstone, Cold War, the one who discovered the Indian Ocean, the one who discovered Jamaica, Columbus. I'm learning about the people who discovered the fall of gravity, those white men. But I never learned about those who built pyramids. I never learned about the architecture, great architecture of Zimbabwe, you know. And that's the reason why they hide that from us, is because the truth is dangerous. Because truth disrupts the system. Because truth reminds us that we were never meant to be oppressed. We were meant to lead. Okay? And that's why I tell my black people, I tell my black brothers and sisters, read the banned books. Let's read the banned books. Let's store the books for our children. Watch videos. There's some videos here I play to my people. Okay? If they don't want you reading it, and that's exactly what you should read. Teach your children the truth. Teach your black children the truth. Reclaim your connection to the divine. Speak up, even when it's uncomfortable. Truth needs bold voices. Okay? Have support black educators, support black creators, support our platforms. That's the only way we can survive. The future is black, and it is. It is true. Now, here is something. They are not afraid of lies. They're afraid of us black people knowing the truth. Okay? Because when we do, we stop begging. We stop assimilating. We stop trying to prove our worth. We start building. We start uniting. We start healing. You see? And we start leading. So this generation is not here to ask for equality. We are here to dismantle the lie. We are not here to beg for spaces. We are here to reclaim a throne. And you see what's happening in Africa, Burkina Faso, all over Kenya. The youth are waking up, okay? I would love you to share this video. If this message has hit your soul, if you can feel the divine of God, of black people, I want you to share this message. Let's this message reach every king and queen, our children out there. Till next episode, peace out.